What's up, everybody? It's your boy Happy. I am here on my property and I'm with my good friend Jim, and we're gonna see a tour of his ambo. Jim, before we get started, I'm gonna put this at the beginning and at the end. Please tell us your Instagram, your YouTube channel, and all that. And I'm also gonna put it in the description, and I'll put a little wording here on the screen as well. But
my YouTube channel is Hogtide Rising.
And that's spelled H-O-G-T-I-D-E.
H-O-G-T-I-D-E, all one word, and then Rising, R-I-S-I-N-G.
And what are we looking at for your ambulance? What year is it?
This is a 2012 Demers ambulance on a 2012 Chevy Express heavy-duty 3500 chassis, cutaway chassis.
All right, and what motor do you have in that thing?
I have the 6-liter Vortec.
The 6.0 liter gas motor, right?
Gas motor,
so people don't get it confused with the bad 6-liter diesel on the Ford. So
no, I'm a gas kind of guy.
Yeah, and it's 2-wheel drive.
But
it has a locker.
It has an ARB airlock locker.
Yeah. So let's get into this tour, guys.
So swing away spare tire carrier. It's off the shelf from OR Fab. They don't make them anymore. It was originally made for a Jeep. And the store in Calgary, Alberta, where I bought it, Capit, we're not selling them anymore, so it was their display unit. So they wouldn't sell me one, and so I said, if you're not selling them, you don't need a display, so why don't you sell that one to me, which they did. So we brought it, and then we modified it so that it's bolted directly to the frame. So what we did is we took the paneling off in here to get to the actual aluminum struts, and then put in steel or aluminum backing plates and everything like that, so it's bolted right onto the frame. This is a 60-liter custom aluminum diesel tank, because all my heaters are diesel. And this is my big 10-watt hydronic heater. It heats glycol and circulates it through the whole vehicle. This is my Solo Ranger stainless steel fire pit. Then these places here left room for my Snow Peak camp table and my Snow Peak chair. This was originally a multi-use compartment, but it was quite small because they had a partition that came across here at an angle to allow for the passenger seat to recline all the way. So we took all of that out and rebuilt it into a big pantry area that 2 shelves are accessible from outside, from the patio. And then the one shelf here is only accessible from inside, which we'll see when we go inside. Then additionally, we had room for a 30-quart Bouger V refrigerator freezer for ice and beer and mix.
It's nice.
Guy that built it figured it'd be a good idea to put fans in here, thermostatically controlled fans, in case it got too hot. So we do that. But I also have these little sensors in here that are temperature and humidity sensors that I can read from my iPhone, so I know what the temperature is.
In each compartment. That's cool.
Yeah. And well, not everyone. Got one for outside, one for this compartment, and one for the electrical.
Oh,
well,
cool.
no, not for the electrical, for the water. And then beneath here is 3 200 amp hour lithium batteries.
Right on, right on.
The passenger seat is just used to carry extra stuff. I've got a sand mat that I can put out here to keep dirt from getting inside. That's that big orange bag there. And then on top of that is a moonshade awning, which mounts onto those tracks up there and comes out. Either I can put it out either 7 feet or 9 feet. The nice thing about the moonshades is then they're not permanently attached to the vehicle, so you can take them off and take them onto the beach and put up a little shelter on the beach.
That's awesome. That's
They're
a good
pretty
idea,
cool.
actually.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Dang it, Moonshades, when are you going to sponsor me? I guess I got to ask them first, right?
Yeah, there we go. This is a Clydesdale bumper, winch bumper. Clydesdale is a company out of Kamloops, British Columbia. Unfortunately, they don't ship to the U.S. However, you could order from them and arrange your own shipping. What I liked about it is there are darn few winch bumpers on the market for cutaway vans. This is a Chevy heavy-duty Express 3500, and there's darn few. However, I watch a channel called Foresty Forest, and Foresty Forest has a van, the same front end, same 3500 HD, and he showed in one of his videos putting on this Clydesdale bumper. So I contacted them and bought it, and it's great. It's a little tricky to put on because their directions aren't good, but the product is excellent. And then it's got a Warren 12,000 pound winch, factor 55, closed shackle system, aux beam light bar, and as well as that aux beam light bar, my little yellow fog lights are also aux beam, and then the big 52-inch bar up there with the 4-inch little sidebars, they're all aux beam as well.
Did it up right.
Yeah, the vehicle, as you can see, is not 4-wheel drive, it's just 2-wheel drive. However, I have put on the ARB airlock differential lock on it, so I can lock up my dualies and get really good traction from that. And the nice thing about that is it also provides me with an onboard air compressor for airing up tires, airing them down, airing them up, as you have to do if you're on rough roads or sand. Okay, and the coating that I've had, a lot of people use, I think it's Rhino or something. What this is a professionally applied hot spray polyurethane coating. It's put on at 180 degrees, so it bonds permanently exceptionally well. So I had that done, and before we did that, it required extensive body work on the ambulance, on the van cab. The rocker panels were rusted out. There was a whole bunch of aluminum corrosion, so that was all taken out. So we put a really good coating onto a perfectly prepared vehicle. My nice pink cord. So this vehicle, this ambulance, I get power from 3 sources, one of which is shore. Up top, which you probably won't see, but you have to believe me, there's 3 355 watt solar panels up there, so just under 1100 watts of solar going into the 600 amp hours of lithium battery.
Lithium battery. Hold on real quick. All right, so that's cool. You got all that wattage going into your 6 lithium batteries, right?
Yep.
600 amp hours, you said?
600 amp hours, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Went to a custom upholstery and had the seats reupholstered, custom done. Did a beautiful job. And then there's a Sony stereo in there with Sirius and all that.
Nice piping on the seats.
Yeah.
And then Oso.
It's got the Oso emblem, which is something I designed. And that's, we call this Oso the Bear Ambo. Oso is Spanish for bear. It's also the Bear Ambo because it was built at Polar Mobility Research in Calgary, Alberta. Polar bear. Here's about a 25-gallon custom aluminum water tank. And this tank, as well as the diesel tank, were built to our specifications by a company in Calgary called Calgary Aluminum Products. And as well as that, there's, we'll show you when we go inside where the hot water feeder is, but I have hot and cold running water. I can hook up a shower to that, pull out the shower enclosure, the DFG off-road shower tent, which comes out. It's a nice big shower enclosure that's those dimensions square, so it comes out about 3 feet. And then another shower option is I have a Yakima 7-gallon Yakima road shower, which is solar heated. There's a little heater in here. You can see the 3 vents. That's the blower, and that's hooked into the hydronic system. So when it's really cold, like it can get in Canada, and it's freezing, I turn that on for half an hour or so, and it heats up this whole compartment to room temperature and melts all the pipes and everything like that. And then I also have a temperature sensor in there.
This thing is rad, Jim. You know, I've told you I liked it since I seen it. You did such a good job.
This is the electrical. So the almost 1100 watts come in and go through the Victron Energy Smart Solar Charge Controller. So that's the one source of electricity. Beneath that is 2 Victron Orion Smart 30 chargers wired in parallel to give me 60 amps coming in from the vehicle. And these ambulances have 2 alternators, 2 complete alternator systems. So that is plenty of juice to run 60 amps into charging. So when I'm driving on the road, this thing is wired to take charge from the vehicle as well as from the solar, so it doesn't take me very long at all before the batteries are completely charged. Everything's nicely isolated. Each battery has its own circuit, has its own breaker, etc. Then down here is the Victron 3000 watt smart inverter. So it's a pure sine wave inverter. And there is my Starlink router, and we run Starlink through this dedicated mini inverter here. And this is on an on-off switch. Starlink takes a fair bit of juice, and so I don't like to run it unless I need it, so I have an on-off switch inside that turns everything off, and so it just goes dead. And so when I'm running off battery, I only turn Starlink on when I absolutely need it. Speaking of Starlink, that is the Starlink up there. And that is, we took the second generation Starlink, which most people have, and you cut away the housing and remove the motor until all you've got is basically the antenna, and then you put it into that flat mount system, which I got from a company in California called Star Mount. And you have the system, and it runs even when you're going down the highway at highway speeds. That Starlink will continue to track satellites perfectly. And then also up top we have the Maxar fan. So that pretty much takes care of all the roof surface, so there's no patio up there. This was the spare tire compartment. This whole compartment was dedicated to carrying that spare tire, which was a monumental waste of space. So took the spare tire and put it back there, and we have room for everything you might need. Here is the Deadman Recovery Nerd system, which is their top of the line system. It's got everything: snatch blocks, extra winch line, cradles, the whole 9 yards. And there's 2 bags for this. This here is the Faster Flate tire system, which I had custom built. This is made for all 6 tires. So, And I had to make especially for me, faster flates out of someplace in Florida. And so all 6 tires are hooked in together into a manifold, which then goes into this air outlet back here, which is part of the ARB system. And it allows me to air up all my tires or air down all of them to the same pressure simultaneously, which saves an incredible amount of time.
That's so cool, man.
Here I have a case of tire problems. I have tire repair kit, got an impact wrench, got a torque wrench, everything I need to take tires, put them back on, torque them properly. These are just tools that I have, and I have another toolbox behind that. This is a little electric chainsaw, then bottle jack, and I can't remember anything else that's in here.
Nice. I dig it, man.
The ladder is it's an extending ladder, but for me, because I only got one leg, I wanted the stability of a ladder that could open up full length or open up as like a step ladder. So that's what I have. Okay, the ambulance, the full conversion, all the work was done at a place in Calgary called Polar Mobility Research. It was owned by a friend of mine, Jeff Schmode, who we call the Big Bear. Jeff is an incredible person. He is a master electrician, welder, builder, constructor. And when I asked him if he'd be interested in doing the project, he said, well, I don't do wood. And I said, okay, well, what would we use? He says, well, we could use aluminum. So the whole build is welded and riveted aluminum. There's no wood used in the construction. So it's cut the weight down remarkably. I've taken this on weigh scale, and I think fully loaded, I'm somewhere between either 8,000 or 9,000 pounds. That's pretty much it. But he also built this trailer. And I wanted a trailer that would carry a trike. But there's also to assist me in getting this into place, there's a winch. And then there's lots of room for me to carry extra stuff. I carry my Tuk-Tuk folding kayak there. I've got a generator there when I need it for backup. A utility box that was actually taken out of the ambulance. Carrier for oil and things. My Southwest Discata
Cooktop,
walk,
I guess, yeah. Like
is in there and everything. So
the cowboy walk.
It's pretty complete.
And then it's got this nice ramp here, and it has a little piece of aluminum that folds down. And then there's the trike. Bam!
It's the home for that trike, which is pretty dusty and dirty right now, but we'll get her cleaned up.
Yeah, buddy, that thing's sweet.
And from back here, you get a good view of it. That last thing on the roof of the ambulance, that is a Nomad 7,000 BTU 12-volt air conditioner. Now, some of you ambulance people might notice that I don't have the red lenses blacked out on this unit. And that's because as long as they don't flash, at least in Alberta, they're legal. So these have been changed. They're just go on or off. So the ones on the back here, when I'm camped and I want a little red light ambiance, I just turn them all on. And then on the side, I have red lights and white lights. White lights for work lights, utility lights, and the red once again for, just turning your campsite into kind of a cool place to be.
Take a look inside, Jim.
You bet. Welcome to my home. Now they do live in this full time. Now you got to check out my little my bear opener.
Oh, a bottle opener, nice.
That's the bear opener. Isn't that cool?
The Oso.
Yeah. And I got a
It's
nasty
oh so
little,
cool.
little knife here for cutting up kindling and stuff.
Oh, is that what you call intruders? Kindling?
Yeah. My primary heater is an Everspacher 2-watt Everspacher S-Bar Airwave heater. And this heats this place up absolutely beautifully.
I can attest to that because we're in here partaking in some tequila and I was not cold. Whether it was the tequila or your heater, I don't know.
A combination of the two.
Either way, it was a good time and I didn't freeze.
So this is it set up for living. A lot of this stuff you'll know it can't be here when we're moving, but I'll tell you and show you where it goes. But we'll start with the first thing I did when I bought this is I checked out this compartment. This is the same cupboard that was here when we were original, and all the cabinetry here is more or less original. And the thing I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that it would be enough room to house my Ninja Foodie, which is a combination smart pressure cooker and air fryer, and my Cuisinart steam oven, steam convection oven. This is something I used when I lived on a boat, and I absolutely swear by it. It bakes things and cooks things like you would not believe. Then I also have room on the counter for the ice maker. Now this goes up in here, and all this stuff that's currently in here actually can all fit on top of the oven and makes perfect room. So it all works really well. These drawers are stock. Right, this whole cabinet, except for the top, is right out of the ambulance. So these drawers were here.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I've never seen that before.
What, the drawers like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, they're really neat, and they're handy because see, they've got these covers on that automatically, when you close it, they cover them up so nothing can
Oh, that's nice. I like
fall
that.
out. And same thing over here.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. This cabinet is custom built. This used to be just a big open space. I'm not even sure what was in here. Something that the ambulance guys use, but we tore it all out, and it was a nice open space, so we built this cabinet here. Here, this is the switch for the hot water heater. So there's a 7-gallon instant non-electric hot water heater behind here. This is my 3-stage water filter, which all fits in there. This panel here is only attached with screws, so we can quickly and easily unscrew it, take it out if we have to service the water heater. Changing the filters is quite easy on this water filter because you just take this magnetic cover off and you take them out without.
I like that.
Yeah. This is, I think it's called a water drop. It's pretty cool. It was on Amazon.
Almost on.
Yeah.
Find everything on Amazon, man.
The sink came from IKEA. This was exactly what I wanted. I wanted a sink. I didn't want stainless steel. I didn't want white. I wanted a black composite type like material sink that would fit in there quite nicely. So that's what we got.
Looks really good, Jim. Like with the nice countertop, and it just all looks really good.
The countertop is acacia butcher block. So we bought 2 pieces of it, and it was enough for this counter, for that counter there, and then there was a piece left over for the stove, for the tabletop.
Which has the snacks that you just shared with me.
That is Canadian crack. It's cheesies, and there's not a Canadian alive that can turn away from that stuff.
And the other Canadian snack.
Brewhouse Pilsner. It's brewed by Great Western Brewery in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and it is the official beer of the Calgary Flames.
Nice.
And it's a darn good
It is
Pilsner.
good.
Come up to Canada, you come up to Alberta, you look for brew house. They have it at Costco.
All right.
It's not expensive. This is a Kraus faucet, and then this is the faucet for the water filter. Now there's no propane in this unit. Everything's electric. So, as well as the Ninja Foodie and the oven, you got to be able to do some other things. So in this pull-out drawer, we have a indoor smokeless grill. You know, cook up a steak, hamburgers, fish, anything you want to do that you might want to do on a grill outside, you can do inside on this. We have a induction single burner induction cooktop that we just take out of here and put up here. This is the grills for this unit, and then down here is my low pressure Auriga low pressure alcohol burner. This burns denatured alcohol, or in Canada, methyl hydrate. And it's a pretty good flame. It doesn't give off carbon monoxide, it gives off carbon dioxide, and it's an easy flame to extinguish. It never ever gets out of control.
That's awesome.
It's really neat. So that's what we have here. All my stuff that has to go, that I have on the counter here, this all goes, these two baskets fit perfectly in the sink, completely out of the way, and then this cover here goes over it. And this is, when I travel, everything is completely clean.
It's a good looking backsplash and window you got there too.
Yeah, that's an RV window, as is the one on the other side.
I don't know if you guys can see the little hexagon pattern on the backsplash. Pretty cool.
Because everywhere, the way it's polished, everywhere you look, it gives you a different look. And that's, we got that at Lowe's. Well, this is the Serbo unit. This is the Victron unit, and it just allows me to see what's happening here. Right now it tells me I'm getting 215 watts from shore. Nothing's coming in from solar at this particular time, but the 213 watts is going, there's nothing going to any AC, so this is all going into the battery right now. So the battery right now, 13.8 volts, that tells me it's pretty well full. All three batteries are 100%. This controller here is for turning on the hydronic heater. This control here is Starlink.
Okay.
If it's red, Starlink's on. When it's not, this here is the dimmer on-off switch for the puck lights.
Nice.
For this part here, and then these two lights here are all separate on this unit with a dimmer.
All right.
This is this top cabinet here is mainly stuff, but I use to store stuff. I use these Amazon travel cubes. So this particular one is bandages and medicine, you know, like Nexium, stuff like that.
Little first aid kit, if you will.
I've got a first aid kit up there. Over here is clean clothes, stacked up nicely. And then when they get dirty, they get packed nicely into dirty clothes. So I don't end up with dirty clothes laying all over the place. It's all nice and neat and packed away, and it's really easy when I go to the laundromat. Just take a bunch of these in cubes like this, and then wash it, and then put them back into the cubes, nicely folded, and
nice.
Everything like that. This next cabinet here is a cabinet of particular interest to you, Happy. It's a cabinet that provided you with a great deal of comfort and joy.
Yeah,
that's my tequila cabinet, which is getting a little low on supplies right now, thanks to Happy and me overindulging. But now this couch area also becomes the bed, and I'll show you that in just a second. But under the bed, on sliders, is a 95-liter Dometic refrigerator freezer, which Everything here is so tightly together. The only place we could put that table for it to work, unfortunately, it doesn't allow the fridge to come all the way out to get into the freezer. So you just learn to work around it. But it's a nice big freezer, got lots of room, lots of food, and everything works beautifully. And then on the other side is what nobody likes to talk about, but everybody needs, is the Nature's Head toilet. When we were building this, I had been living in a Dodge Grand Caravan minivan for 2 years. And when we started this, I told Jeff that my home had to have 3 things, because there's 3 things you do every day. You eat, you sleep, and you take a dump. So
Yep.
I needed a toilet, I needed a kitchen, I needed a dining area, and I needed a bed. And so that's why what we started with.
You got it all.
And speaking of the bed, this comes out another 6 inches. When I pull the bed out to go to bed, I remove the table, put it on the couch, remove the stable, the post for it, and then those 2 cushions behind the bed fit in here, and I end up with a full size twin bed, 4 feet wide by 76 inches long. And
Yeah,
it's on.
so what we just call it a full size.
Yeah.
And then a twin is separate, but I know a lot of people call them full size twin beds because that just means it's the bigger size of the twins, you know.
Yeah, or a double
Or
bed.
double, yeah.
Yeah, but it's perfect.
That's brilliant. I liked it so much. I like this build so much that I had to call my buddy Jimmy from 365 Camper to come check it out, and he really liked a lot of this stuff too. So
The other thing about this is it's on 4 300-pound slides, so a combined weight of 1,200 pounds. So it does not require support legs or anything like that. It just cantilevers out, and it works perfectly. You're rarely ever on this extended part, because that part this is just where your legs go. In my case, I only have one leg, so it's just
that's awesome. I really love everything you did, Jim. This is beautiful build, and then you got your bench over here, your table.
Yeah. Then the finish work on it. This was all done by a young lady in Calgary by the name of Chandel McKenzie. And she is a multi-talented person. She's the daughter of a good friend of mine. And I first hooked up with her for tattoos. And this is
Some of her work.
an idea of her work.
Nice.
She did this Day of the Dead tattoo. But we were going for a motorcycle ride once, and somehow it came up in conversation that she also does renovations. So I asked her if she'd be interested in doing a renovation on an ambulance. And so she said she would. So she did the flooring, which is a vinyl plank flooring material. And she also put the ceiling in. This ceiling, the material is called Sajarev, and I'll show you a cutaway section of it in a while. What's nice about Sajarev is it's a honeycomb, so it has an R factor, so it's nice insulation from the heat and the cold.
And it's ultra light, so it's not putting added weight.
Super light.
And this stuff, you told me about this before your build. So I met Jim at RTR, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And he told me he was doing the build and that he was going to use this stuff up here in the ceiling. And you gave me a link to it. I looked it up on the internet with you sitting there, pulled up the link, and I passed it on to Jimmy. And I think I'm going to use some of it. I'm going to pull the ambo apart a little bit. Maybe I'm giving away too much. But yeah, we're going to do a little upgrade.
I also was going to use the wood grain and the wood look on the walls, but then I decided that rather than lock myself into a color that I could never change, I was going to try something a little different, something I've not seen anybody else do in an ambulance. The walls are all aluminum paneling, and the aluminum paneling is the same paneling that we use to build the trailer. It's trailer sheathing, which is like maybe an eighth of an inch thick aluminum. And so much of the ambulance was already metal, which we didn't want to cover up because it was too much trouble. So we just put in more. So all the walls got finished off with this aluminum, and then we painted it. And the paint we used is this Benjamin Moore direct to metal, D2M, direct to metal paint. And it's got a nice color, a nice texture that we really like, but it goes on really well. Now, part of the painting was done by my brother. He did the original painting of most of the walls.
Just want them to see that it does have a texture on it, which is nice.
But then Chandel came in and she did the final coating and did the painting and painted this wall and some of these things back here. So it worked out really well. The paint that I chose, this ambulance is my home. It's my happy place, and I wanted the paints to reflect my other happy place, which is Mexico. So these are very, very traditional Mexican colors. The Mexicans celebrate sunshine. They celebrate, you might say, water, the blue, or the blue agave that makes the tequila. And then from where tequila comes from, the Jalisco state, it's the red volcanic soil. So the terracotta look symbolizes that. So that's
Comes
why I
from
chose
the
these
earth.
colors.
Yeah, buddy, I love it.
That's why I chose these colors.
I'll get a little shot from this side over here so they can see it. Beautiful setup.
Part of the reason I wanted a lot of room. A lot of people build these things out and they don't have a lot of floor space like this. And the reason I do is because this is also my gym. And I have this little yoga chair, and I do chair yoga. And part of what that requires you to do is spread your legs out and kick out like this, lots of room like this. And if I had a tight little sprinter van type like layout, I wouldn't be able to do any of that. But in this, it doesn't matter. 365 days of the year, I can do my morning workout because I've got lots of room. And that's one benefit. The other benefit is it's kind of nice to be able to entertain people and invite them into your home, just like you would if I live sticks and bricks. So this provides that.
So much room for activities. Room for activities.
Oh, and then the design of these, this is more than just a walk-through to the front cab.
I like that little door.
This also
nice.
is another closet that holds just an incredible amount of stuff.
Could even be a pantry or something, you know, that's really neat.
It could have. Oh, speaking of the pantry, I showed you the pantry from outside. This is the pantry from the inside.
It's really cool. I dig it, man.
Yeah. Now these doors, this originally was a solid wall, and it had a back for this seat. But when we built the compartment that I showed you earlier for the furnaces, we wanted to close it off completely. So these doors were over by where my tequila cabinet is, underneath them. But they wouldn't be usable with the bed being where it is. So we took them out, put a solid piece of aluminum, and then we cut a hole in the wall, put the doors in here, and used them as storage. And that's the pantry. And then the other major change for storage is this area up here. This originally was where all the the heating and air conditioning was housed. So it all came, all the heating came from the engine, and it was all blowers and all everything up here. This was all wiring and stuff. We tore it all out, opened it up, and ended up with this huge, I call it the attic, this huge storage area, and this carries just an enormous amount of stuff, including a couple of big bags of cheesies of Canadian crack. And there's probably a 2-4 of Brewhouse back there as well. Yeah.
Well, shoot, thanks so much, Jim, for allowing us into your house. Check out your build, all the cool things that you did with it. And I know I can't, maybe the viewers won't remember your friend's name that did the interior. Chandel
McKenzie, yeah.
Maybe we can, if she does tattoos, you know, find her Instagram link and put it in the description. Maybe somebody gets some tattoos, or maybe they'll say, hey, I'm in Canada, can you build out the interior of my camper, you know?
Yeah, well, she does great work.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So if anybody that's doing a self-build and they're in the area around Calgary, they might want to talk to her or talk to her about tattoos and all that. And she also does sewing, so I'm going to get her to sew window covers for me.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks again, brother. Appreciate it,
welcome.
man. Make sure you guys go check out Jim's channel, all of his Instagram, Facebook, and everything like that. And this was a really cool build, and I'm so thankful that he came to visit. Came all the way from Canada coming through, and he stops to visit me. What can I say, man? I dig it. Thanks, brother.
Well, you're special.
Not supposed to say that in that way.
No, it's just all us YouTubers and van lifers, you know, we have a special relationship. You're just, you know, another one of those special friends that you like to spend time with and all that.
Well, shucky darn, Jim. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you, man.
You will.
Let's go watch that sunset.